What's good everybody? My name's Jeeves and I'm here to bring you a new video. Today I wanted to highlight a few reasons why I switched from Alliance to Horde after being an Alliance main for 17 years. Now don't get me wrong, I've played Horde in the past. However, over 95% of my time on this game over the past 17 years has been spent on Alliance. No more. My Horde experience includes playing a boosted Orc Warrior in Warlords of Draenor. Yeah, what a great time that was. And leveling to max in Seasons of Mastery on an Undead Priest. I have leveled through all the Horde starting zones, of course, like every other WoW player, but other than my Undead Priest on Seasons of Mastery, the highest I've leveled a Horde character is somewhere between 20 and 30. Sad AF and cringe. I will always love the Alliance, but I love World of Warcraft too much to only experience half of it. This video will focus on characteristics of both factions from a WoW Classic point of view, due to me being a filthy Classic Andy. But before we get into these reasons, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's get into the reasons. Reason number 1, zone superiority. If I told you 35% of the zones are dominated by the Horde, would you believe me? Or what if I said only 22.5% of zones are dominated by the Alliance? You'd call BS, right? Let me explain. Here's a map of Kalimdor I made to show which zones are Horde dominated, Alliance dominated, and evenly contested zones. The criteria I used to categorize these zones are ease of access, number of outposts and flight paths, and proximity or connection to a major city. As you can see, it's very biased towards the Horde, like it's not even close. Feel free to pause the video and let me know if you disagree with any of these classifications, but on Kalimdor, 89% of zones are either Horde dominated or evenly contested, leaving very little room for those filthy night elves.
But Jeeves,
You say?
Kalimdor's supposed to be the Horde-dominated continent with 2/3 of the Horde's main cities there and only 1/3 of the Alliance cities.
Oh yeah? Here's a map I made of the Eastern Kingdoms. It's much better for the Alliance than Kalimdor is, but the continent has 2/3 of their major cities and it's still basically even. 31% of the zones are dominated by the Alliance and 27% are dominated by the Horde. Big sad. And again, feel free to pause the video and let me know if you disagree with any of these zone classifications, but I would argue the Horde has a slight edge on the Eastern Kingdoms as well due to the connectivity of their dominated zones. The Zeppelin from Undercity to Orgrimmar that goes straight to Stranglethorn Vale is freaking OP by itself. The Alliance equivalent to these Zeppelins is Menethil Harbor, which takes Alliance players to Darkshore or Duskwallow Marsh. Not exactly a one-to-one comparison if you ask me. The Alliance have the dreaded Wetlands run to successfully reach all 3 of their major cities while leveling. The Horde take a fucking Zeppelin and run through the much safer Barrens.
Easy peasy.
But yeah, that's about all I have to say about zone superiority. I could make a whole video going into the specifics on this, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. And let's get into the next reason. Reason number 2, dungeon superiority. This is essentially a subsection of zone superiority. Dungeons are instanced areas of the game designed for 5-man groups. Simply put, the Horde has better access to multiple dungeons while leveling, and it's not even close. I can only think of 3 dungeons that the Alliance have easier access to than the Horde: Deadmines, Stockades, and Nomergon. Here's a list of every dungeon in Classic WoW. As you can see, the Horde have better access to most of the lower level dungeons. This starts to even out around level 40 with dungeons like ZF and Oldamon, and all 50 to 60 dungeons are pretty close besides Sunken Temple. But this shows that 42% of dungeons are Horde dominated while only 11.5% are Alliance dominated. So why does this matter? Because better access to dungeons leads to more dungeon quests, boss drops, and more collaboration with other players. Dungeon quests can have some really nice rewards and give more experience than regular quests. Boss drops can make your character much more powerful, and collaborating with other players is one of the best things to do in the game and makes it feel more alive. If you disagree with these characterizations, let me know in the comments, and let's get on to the next reason. Reason number 3, racials. Racial abilities in Classic WoW can be game-changing or make almost no difference depending on what class you play. Both factions have good and bad racials. Humans have the best racials in the game in my opinion, especially for warriors, but they also have diplomacy and the human spirit, which are both good for all classes and can save a little bit of time while leveling or farming reputation. I will always argue that mace specialization should have gone to the dwarves, but I digress. On the Horde side, some of my favorite racials include Berserking, Blood Fury, War Stomp, Will of the Forsaken, and Cannibalize. In my opinion, the Alliance racials don't come close to these in terms of effectiveness in class or race fantasy. They also feel better to use. Popping Berserking on my Troll Mage while AoE farming is a game changer. I could go on and on about racials and maybe make a whole video about them, and I might make a tier list video at some point, but this is all I'll say about them for now, so let's get on to the next reason. Reason number 4, mounts. I am a mount junkie. On retail, I've spent hours mount farming and have amassed a decent collection. Let me start off by saying that Night Elves have the coolest mounts in the game, and it's not even a discussion. If you disagree, you're wrong. But the Horde have cooler mounts overall than the Alliance. Trolls with their sleek raptors, orcs with their imposing wolves, and let's be real though, Undead and Tauren have mid mounts. But we can all agree that undead horses are cooler than regular horses, and Kodos are cooler than Mechanostriders and Rams, right? You also have to factor in the Black War mounts. The Black War Tiger is the coolest one by far, but the Black War Raptor and Wolf are pretty freaking cool too. The Frost Wolf is cooler than the Altric Battle Ram as well, but the Alliance have access to the Winter Spring Frost Saber, so they do have that going for them. Regardless, I think the Horde have cooler mounts on average. I could make a whole video talking about mounts as well, and might do a tier list of every mountain classic. Let me know if that's something you would want to see, but let's get on to the final reason. Reason number 5, culture. It is a well-known fact that the Alliance and the Horde have different cultures, and if you disagree with me, answer this question. Which faction is more structured and lawful? If you said the Horde, you are drinking trippy juice while glue sniffing. The Horde are more tribal and focus on surviving, adapting, and being ruthless if necessary. The Alliance has structure and order, and they focus on justice, honor, and diplomacy. These characteristics and values tie directly to the races that make up each faction and their histories. This is not a lore video, but when you dive into the lore behind this massive game, it is easy to see how and why each faction behaves the way they do. I have been a structured and lawful Alliance boy for far too long. The Horde offers a different cultural experience than the Alliance does, and the fact that I have never explored that is really unfortunate. I hope this final reason makes sense to you. And in conclusion, the streets of Stormwind are etched into my memory permanently. The gates of Ironforge will always feel like an entrance to a second home to me. Teldrassil was the first zone I ever experienced in this game back in 2007. When I walked into Darnassus for the first time and saw the Ancients walking around, my 9-year-old brain exploded with amazement and wonder. I will always remember that feeling. Sadly, playing the same faction for 17 years has made the game feel stale, and I have found myself wanting to play less and less. But since I've switched to the Horde, the itch to play is back. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but for the Horde, baby. It feels amazing to be obsessed with WoW again. So obsessed that I decided to start making WoW videos.
Cringe.
I'm not sure if I will only make WoW videos or just gaming videos in general. Either way, I hope you come along with me on this new journey. Of course, feel free to put your opinions in the comments whether you disagree with me or not. And let me know if you have any suggestions for new videos, and please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all again real soon. Peace.